Have you ever asked yourself, how can I mix wax and oil-based pencils? In this clip, I will show you if you can mix wax and oil-based pencils and explain the wax and oil difference of Prismacolor, Faber-Castell and Caran d'Ache Luminance coloured pencils. I will do this in several ways, including demonstrating how I use wax and oil-based pencils in my work, including my current portrait of musician Harry Styles. So let's get into the clip. Coloured pencils feature a wax-based or oil-based binder. The binder holds the pigment together and allows it to be spread on the drawing surface. Most coloured pencils have a wax-based binder. Oil-based pencils behave in a similar manner as wax-based pencils, but the binder within the pencil is different. Now, while it's great to have two options, when it comes to the binder of the coloured pencil, it can cause a bit of confusion. It can be difficult to choose which type of coloured pencil is best for your project. The only way to know for sure is to experiment. Experimentation, however, can be pricey, so I will highlight some of the key differences between the two types to help you with your choices. We have established that it is the binder that differentiates a wax-based pencil from an oil-based one. Wax-based coloured pencils have a waxy binder, while oil-based pencils have an oil-based binder. Wax-based pencils are far more well known and most brands fall into this category. Wax-based pencils are generally easier to erase than oil-based pencils and are usually softer. They are really good for burnishing as long as you buy a quality brand. The downside of wax-based pencils is that they are prone to wax bloom. This is a process where the waxy binder slowly evaporates to the surface of the drawing over time. This produces a light film over the surface of the drawing and it develops on the drawing. However, it can be wiped away with a damp cloth, so many consider this to be a minor drawback and some people can live with it. However, some people believe that it damages their drawings. Because wax-based pencils are softer than oil-based pencils, the core tends to break easily. Oil-based pencils are not as widely available and as a result are a bit more pricey than wax-based pencils. The core of oil-based coloured pencils are a bit harder than wax-based pencils, making them less prone to breakage. For this reason, the pencil keeps a sharper point for a longer period of time. This is why I find it much easier to use the oil-based pencils for details such as eyelashes and animal hair. Although they can be layered, they don't have the same consistency that is achieved with wax-based pencils. Although this texture is preferred by some colour pencil artists, others prefer to apply controlled layers that never reach this consistency. Obviously, oil-based pencils do not produce wax bloom, as the binder is not wax-based. The key difference in technique between oil and wax-based coloured pencils is burnishing technique. Burnishing is where you use the binder of the pencil to blend and work the pencil into the tooth of the paper, creating an even appearance. Since the binders are different in wax-based and oil-based coloured pencils, the most effective burnishing techniques also differ. All burnishing techniques will work with both types of pencils. A colourless blender is either a wax-based pencil without pigment or a marker that thins the pigment. The waxy binder in the pencil is worked over the colour, mixing and blending the medium into the tooth of the paper. This gives an even appearance in the colour pencil, and this burnishing technique is best suited for the wax-based pencils. A lighter pencil can be used to work colours already applied to the surface, working the pencil into the tooth of the paper. One major drawback to this technique is that it lightens the value of the colour. This burnishing technique can be used with both types of pencils. For this portrait, I used Seashell Pink Prismacolor, as it not only performed a burnishing effect, but it meant that I could lightly blend with the colourless blender later. Solvent can be applied with a brush to coloured pencil applications, thinning the pencil. This results in an application of colour, and this can be used for oil and wax-based pencils. Some mediums just don't work well together. For example, if you were trying to apply acrylic paint onto oil paints, it just wouldn't work out because the oil paints take a very long time to dry and you would capture the dampness into the paint. It just wouldn't work. Broadly speaking, you can mix pencils of all kinds together. Oil and wax work well together. What's more important is to think about the characteristics of the individual pencils in question. For instance, Prismacolor wax pencils are extremely soft and opaque. So if you use them as first layer, the wax fills up the tooth of the paper quickly. Polychromos are oil-based and translucent. Light colours don't really show up on top of the dark. So using polychromos over Prismacolors don't usually work very well together. However, there are occasions, such as if you lay down a layer of wax-based layer skin tone, then add details on top, for example eyelashes, that can be very effective. If you have a toothy paper, for example Strathmore Bristol vellum surface, like the one I used in the Harry Styles portrait, you can add wax pencil first, and this is also good for adding several layers. It all depends on the pencils and the look that you're aiming for. If you want a smooth polished surface, almost like paint, wax pencils can be used for the final layer. You can even use spirits or what we call solvent. I like to use Zest-It with a brush to blend the pigment and then go in with polychromos. If you prefer the look of coloured pencils, not very polished finish, then oil pencils can work very well. And this is just about layering different pencils in the same area. You can simply mix various brands on the same page depending on what shade is available in what. Sometimes the exact colour I want isn't there in my Prismacolors or Polychromos or Luminance set that I'm currently using, and I just go for whatever pencils fits my needs. The most important thing is to experiment and have fun. If you would like to find out more about these pencils, how they work together, as well as money saving tips, then check out one of these clips to help you with your choices. If you enjoyed this clip, then make sure you check out more clips like this in the Coloured Pencil playlist. Don't forget to look in the description below for details of products used in today's clip, and if you have any ideas for content or questions, leave a comment below. Finally, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of future content. Also, you can now check out my Patreon page for exclusive content including real-time content and more.